Yeah, that's right, I'm finally talking about that movie everyone's been talking about. A film with so much intrigue, it's caused an entire generation to start staring intently at things, thinking they're literally him. I saw it a week after it released with some normal, sane, unbothered friends of mine, and I gotta say, the IMAX and 70mm film definitely enhanced my experience. I felt like I was really there, because I felt every atom of my body shake and light up like Belloc at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The story follows Julius Robert Oppenheimer, a promising quantum physicist who gets himself involved in the Manhattan Project with the goal of creating an atomic bomb before the Nazis and ending World War II. We see every roadblock and breakthrough eventually leading to a successful detonation. Right after ending the war, Oppenheimer starts using his new platform to openly object the arms race that he started and attempt to prevent further use of the atomic bomb. The higher-ups don't take this lightly, so the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, Louis Strauss, works to indirectly discredit Oppenheimer by framing him as a Soviet spy so that nobody in the US government would take him seriously. The corruption orchestrated by Strauss eventually gets uncovered, but by that point, Oppenheimer is pretty much already publicly ruined, leaving the rest of humanity to live out a Cold War in fear of the power that Oppenheimer gave them. Holy sh**. It's a historical drama bound to true events, and in some cases, keeping accurate to the history holds the movie back. But Xander, you charismatic dissenting know-it-all, Oppenheimer is a biopic made to tell a true story and show real important events of our past, and the history shown in the movie is kind of the point of the whole thing. And to that I'd say, well yeah, you're spot on and right, but the problem is that the movie is very fast-paced, and I mean very. It takes place over several years with significant time jumps happening every few minutes. Months go by at a time and it really slows down for scenes that should be more grounded, and on top of that it also takes up time showing us the perspective of Louis Strauss, which mostly takes place in the future, so we're constantly jumping between Oppenheimer's perspective in the past, then Strauss after most of the major events have already happened. Scenes go by quickly because there's so much to cover in such little time, and since so much shit is happening, it's hard to digest it all after one viewing. I just saw it again, and I gotta say I still feel like I missed something. Minor grievances aside, though, Oppenheimer makes up for the pacing with its acting. There is not a single bad performance in this movie, and it shows. It has one of the greatest ensemble casts I've ever seen in a blockbuster movie. I'm not joking. There are so many prominent recognizable actors, and it was fun to see them all appear because it was constant. Oh look, it's Alden Ehrenreich. Oh look, it's Scott Grimes. Oh look, it's Matt Damon. That's not even half of who I recognize, and I don't even know everyone that's in the movie, but I'm sure there's plenty more that others will recognize. Also, I know I'm not the first person to say it, but Robert Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar for his performance as Louis Strauss. He somehow has the perfect balance between being calm and collected without any fear, and being a borderline mob boss. On top of that, Oppenheimer was filmed with actual film instead of being digital, and the final reel for the movie weighed 600 pounds and was roughly 11 miles long. A lot of theaters actually needed to upgrade their projectors in order to fit it. Christopher Nolan made it clear that he didn't want to use any CGI, and I gotta say, for a film based on a true story, it's nice to know that everything we see here is actually real, and not just some bullshit fake environment. It's sad when you really think about it, but most of the scenes in Oppenheimer would be heavy on virtual effects and CGI if it were any other director. For a movie about the guy that made the atomic bomb, it's nice to watch and know that every explosion is real. Also, the score here is absolutely phenomenal, and ever since Mandalorian, Ludwig Göransson just has not missed. Now, that being said, my biggest problem with Oppenheimer is that it's just too damn long. There's a scene right after the war ends where Oppenheimer is giving a speech and he struggles with his own words as he comes to realize the atrocity that he helped commit. We hear the heavy pounding from the audience in front of him, and then the scene slowly transforms. Sudden drops and rises in audio, and then the aperture changes, and we see people crying and charred bodies, all while Oppenheimer stares on, horrified. This entire scene was emulating the impact of an atomic bomb in a creative way, and the movie should have ended right here, because the rest of the film all takes place in 2 rooms, and the whole focus has now shifted. It's no longer about building the atomic bomb. It's now just Oppenheimer being asked about everything that's happened so far in the movie for an hour. It's slower, and definitely not as interesting, and the majority of it should have been cut to save time, because after 2 hours of fast-paced scenes all leading to a big climactic event, I just don't care anymore. Imagine if in Star Wars, after blowing up the Death Star and killing over 1.5 million people, there was just another hour of the movie about Luke in a room with a bunch of suits asking him questions. Yeah, that's pretty much what Oppenheimer was like. I fully believe that when it comes to movies, less is more, and just because something happened in real life doesn't mean it needs to be in the biopic. Am I saying that I don't like the movie? No, not by a long shot, but it's definitely better than Barbie. Despite my minor gripes, it's still probably the best biopic that I've ever seen, and I can tell that there was a lot of vision and creativity that went into it. The fact that it might make over $1 billion is damn well deserved, and in time it might even lead to more filmmakers using practical effects again. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments because I'm genuinely curious what you guys think here. Do you agree with me that it's too fast-paced and that the last hour could have been cut? Or do you think Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's magnum opus just the way it is, and that I'm a fool for thinking otherwise? Comment it down below. Also, since you made it this far, you should drop an atomic bomb on that subscribe button, or something like that. Or you can just click it, that works too. Anyways, I'm going to bed. Bye.